Welcome to Healthcare Sucks. That was weenie. Healthcare sucks! There we go. Today I told you we'd do a little different, so we did some music and some other things. I can't do live music. I can do live eventually, but I can't do live music because they'll cut me. So what I did is I did little throw out things and you know, with the little comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. There was a little bit of rock, a little bit of Johnny Cash, and a bunch of other things. So from day to day we may change it up, but that's the only way for me to put out real music, if you guys like that. So you just click on it and it's kind of like going with me. I'm doing it at the same time. You're welcome to just rock together. If I can get a legal waiver, I will do live shows with music like that, like a radio station kind of thing, but we'll see. So with this, we're going to jump into it. Let's hear what's going on from this WHO bozo, but he is touching on some things that we probably should hear, so that's why I'm playing it. Here we go. In 3, 2.
About what he says about isolating, testing early, breaking the chain of transmission, and what happens if you wait too long.
This is a virus that once it does take off, it's going to move and increase exponentially. And your measures, your control measures have got to be exponential as well to get in front of it. So small incremental measures won't work. And if there's a sense that you're losing control of these clusters, losing control of these transmission chains, you want to be moving very, very quickly in terms of measures that are going to really prevent people from interacting in a way that's going to just add more fuel to this particular fire.
You can hear much more later tonight in our Global News special, Coronavirus Canada in Crisis. And that is Global National for this Monday. I'm Donna Friesen. We leave you tonight with Toronto soprano Tea Kasahara. She's singing from a balcony, lifting spirits and soothing souls. Take care of yourself.
Well, for individual violators, the fines will be $1,000. For businesses, $7,500. The government wanted to hammer home the point that there will be additional repeat fines if violations continue. In some ways, protecting the healthcare system here and limiting the spread of the virus is even more important in this province because we have the highest percentage of seniors in Canada, and emergency departments are already overwhelmed, Robin.
All right, Ross Lord in Nova Scotia tonight. Nova Scotia isn't alone in virtually shutting down. Newfoundland and Labrador implemented penalties for people and businesses violating the social distancing rules. But what about the rest of the country? Here's Mike Armstrong now with the different measures provinces and cities are taking to combat COVID-19.
Crews are scrambling in downtown Montreal. The goal is to get this new COVID-19 testing center up and running by Monday morning. This would normally be where the city holds major festivals, but these are not normal times. Unless you go up the mountain. It felt like a fairly typical Sunday morning in Mount Royal Park, although people say they were trying to keep their distance from others.
I think it's a personal responsibility.
Now, heading out for a walk or a run is allowed, but there's a problem. When too many people head out with the same idea to the same spot, keeping that suggested 2-meter distancing is impossible. Effective on Sunday, it is now banning social gatherings in people's homes and any social gathering outside.
In people's homes, that's carried away. I'm just going to say it, guys. First of all, once upon a time in America, they tried to ban liquor. And when they tried to ban liquor, I think we all know what happened. People met in underground places, had big parties and stuff like that. If they think they're going to be able to break up gatherings at private houses and private people, they're nuts. That's crossing the line. I know there's a reason. We could go into that. But that's, I hate to say it, but I'm going to, Nazism. And you probably will never hear me talk about Nazis other than the terrible things they did to the Jewish people and stuff. And that's reality. Unfortunately, there was a woman named Omar once upon a time that thought it was all fiction, but we won't go into that right now. It's just a thought that comes with that now. It's disgusting that somebody would even question it. But, I don't know. Things are getting weird really fast, guys. I told you I'd keep on it. Here we go. Here's Russia. This is different. Russia is building a hospital near Moscow. The country had reported 438 cases. Putin says the whole thing is under control. Does this sound familiar? Independent experts have expressed skepticism. The head of Russia's independent doctors told something like they're full of poop. Said they're likely to have tens of thousands. And the watchdog people said 156,000 tests. The government has closed borders and banned gatherings. Shows hospital construction. 5,000 workers from 35 construction companies to build this hospital. That's almost a China move. Yeah, there we go. Just a thought. We'll see what else is out there. Oh, here we go. This is not good. 50% increase in patients. Surge.
Was humiliating.
Oh,
it's
man.
Expensive. Only Carfax.com.
Only Carfax.
Accurate price based on the Carfax report.
Because you need Carfax. I don't know why.
Start your used car search today.
Maybe because a cute little box is saying it. Maybe.
Some doctors and nurses running low on protective gear, many reusing their masks. Some hospitals reporting a 50% surge in coronavirus patients. Here's ABC's Adrian Banker.
Tonight, a massive rush to get tested suddenly cut short. Hundreds of people arriving before 4:30 this morning, waiting in a mile-long line at New Jersey's biggest drive-through testing site. But just 30 minutes after opening, they hit capacity, and police had to turn people away. Medical professionals now advise that only those with severe cases seek medical help. Inside hospitals tonight, there's growing concern.
It's a scary time to be a doctor in America, and especially in New York.
Dr. Cornelia Griggs, a mother of two, is a pediatric surgeon who works with coronavirus patients at Columbia University Medical Center. She says she's worried the hospital could run out of masks, eye protection, and gloves. Her message on Twitter, "Don't make us orphan our two toddlers."
It's forced me to feel like I have to live apart from my children in order to protect them, and that breaks my heart.
Internal memos written by Columbia University's chief surgeon, Dr. Craig Smith, say that his hospitals have seen a 50% increase in coronavirus patients, burning through 40,000 masks every day, adding that officials predict the number of cases might not even peak for another 32 days. Two New York area medical professionals we spoke to tonight are worried about what lies ahead.
We're filling up our ICUs. We have several floors now that are devoted only to COVID-positive patients.
There's a misconception out there that this is a disease that only affects the elderly and only affects people who have significant medical problems. And that's not what we're seeing in the hospitals around New York. We're seeing younger people.
Many doctors tell ABC News over the past few weeks they're being forced to reuse masks and protective gear. But even with the stories of nationwide shortages of N95 masks and other gear, Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City says it has sufficient supplies and is prepared for things to get worse.
On the whole, I would say I'm feeling inspired, just being able to watch the stuff that my colleagues are doing. It's absolutely incredible. You know, I think what people have done over the last month.
Tonight, researchers at Columbia University estimate the number of undetected cases is 11 times higher than what's officially been reported and predict that 650,000 people could be infected over the next 2 months, even if the transmission rate is cut in half.
Remember when we were talking about 40 to 60% of the world? With those kind of numbers and populating and going on, we're heading towards those numbers. So don't be surprised as these numbers escalate. Even with lockdown, there's people that are going to go out there and do things just like I said. Nope. I mean, what are you going to do if your family members show up from another state? I mean, personally, I have invited some family members, their family, from another state. So if they show up at my door, what am I going to do? Lock them in the shed for 2 weeks or 30 days? Just to make sure? Maybe. Would that be abuse? I don't know. You notice how, what I just said, how things have changed so fast? I want to talk to you guys about something else for a minute that I've been thinking about in my head. Okay, as you know, let's just take New York. New York has a massive, just like Chicago and a lot of the big cities, but particularly the East Coast, has a massive rat population and a massive insect, cockroaches, etc., because those buildings have been there forever. Even when they fumigate, they go down into the system and then they come back up. Call and talk to a fumigation expert and he'll confirm what I'm saying. They've got so much underground underneath New York that you're never going to kill off all those bad things, let's just say. So we got people, businesses closing, people going home. Regular fumigations and stuff are not going on. The insects and the rats have got to be just running rampant, guys. And they're not talking about, the only one that talked about insects and rats and, you know, mosquitoes and things like that, transferring the disease, was yours truly. And shortly after, Dr. Campbell, John Campbell, talked about it and kind of confirmed my suspicion that it could be possible. Go back and watch some of his videos for confirmation. But again, I put this out there a long time ago, and I'm giving you a real scenario this time. This is not like way out there. This is pretty much so happening right now. So you got, normally, even with human beings being in these buildings, if there was a rat or an insect, they would get squished, or, you know, somebody would throw a rock at a rat, or, you know what I'm saying. They were putting down fresh traps and killing these things. It's not going on, guys. Okay, let me tell you why it's not going on. Because people aren't even going into the businesses. They're shut down. The doors are locked. The people are at their homes, which means all the insects, all the rats, all the animals, and who knows what other animals we could be talking about. Everything from raccoons to you name it. Running rampant, transferring diseases. This is something we're not talking about, but we are on Healthcare Sucks because we're ahead of the curve. Team 99. Team 99. We don't mess around at Healthcare Sucks. We see a problem, we face it, we get on it head on, we address it. Another person that I'm seeing getting ridiculed for addressing it the same way is Marfugal News. The guy just cares. He's trying to help people like me, but on a bigger scale. He's bigger than me. Dabu's trying. Like I said, I always throw out BP and, you know, a bunch of us tubers are bringing the truth. Truth slingas. That's right, damn it. Anyway, jokingly aside. So, that's one scenario we know that's going on right now. It's not being addressed. We're going to have to deal with that. I don't know what that's going to mean. Fumigating. And then if you fumigate and you do things, you got all this garbage. You got all this garbage that's going to have to get rid of. More garbage than usual. Another thing, yeah, speaking of why we're on garbage, I happen to know a guy that works in garbage and stuff. And this certain person, I know a couple of them, actually. But one of them is completely in denial. Like, they'll never shut down the trash stuff because we have to be out there and we have to do this and have to do that. What about when some of those guys start getting sick? What's going to happen to the garbage and stuff? Well, if you live in rural districts, what we used to do in the old days was you dig a trench and you burn your trash, which should not make a difference for all you eco freakos. Not the eco, like, you know, we want to stabilize and have a good environment and we don't mind doing things, but the ones that are, you know, the carried away bunch, you know, like cow fart bunch. That should explain everything what I'm getting to. We're not polluting the world right now. China's got the best air. Italy's got the best water they've ever seen. And etc. all over the world right now. Because the human beings aren't out there screwing stuff up. And factories are not screwing stuff up. So, if we did burn a little trash, bottom line, no biggie. It's not going to hurt anything. Some people ain't going to like that statement, but it's the truth. I'll stand by it. So the bottom line on the trash things I'm worried about is what happens in the big city. Well, let me give you a scenario. Many, many years ago, in my lifetime, because I'm an old fart, there was strikes at garbage companies. One particularly in New York. And there was piles and all over the streets were just filled with garbage, guys. I mean, it was nuts. Yes, they did clean it up and get it under control, but during that time, the rats and the bugs and the infestment was just rampant, and diseases, not as, believe it or not, not as bad as the damn diseases that we have going on in the last couple years, but they were bad, you know, and they weren't talked about because we didn't have social media back then, so it was like New York's dirty little secret. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is, and we're not addressing this either. Let's say you own your own house. A pipe breaks. Well, you can fix things. That's one thing. Do you have the supplies to fix things? Catch my drift? Okay, so you don't fix things. Are plumbers going to come and fix your broken pipe? Who knows? Let's say your washing machine breaks. Well, washing machine's kind of serious. Like a dryer nowadays for most people. I mean, in the old days, I went through it, really poor times. I had to hand wash clothes in the bathtub, wring them out, and I even looked for one of those wringer things eventually. I got one. These were hard times, guys. And believe it or not, that squeezes a lot of water. Then you still have to hang your clothes up, which when you get the right weather, I love to hang my clothes outside. I like that feel. Some people don't, but if not, then you have to hang your stuff inside on these little racks or lines. And if any of you run into this problem, I'll go through how to survive it. I've done it. You can survive. But the bottom line here is most people ain't going to make it. I mean, refrigerator breaks down. That's a serious one. I talked about the other scenarios. Electric goes out, you need to have a generator. Or wherever you're at needs to provide. And with that being done, Dabu's covered a lot, so is Marfugo, about generators being moved all over the place. And the suspicion I kind of thought was maybe to get and keep up 5G running. But along with that, you know, it could also sub for maybe getting electricity to certain areas. Now, of course, if you're out further, you're on your own, guys. I can tell you where I live, that whenever there's storms and trees take down the power, we're the last one on a chain. The cities come first. They always do. So you're kind of on your own on that. Something for you guys to think about and share. Share all my stuff. Feel free. With that, we use the Fair Use Act. Nothing you see is real. Or is it? Let's see. There's so many things running around this old bean thing. Really get out there, get medicine as much as you can. I'm not joking. I called my pharmacy again today and trying to get my son's stuff, my stuff filled as much as possible. Trying to put forth an act through the wonderful government, including our governor, our senators, and our president, not just to cover the things we've been talking, all debt waiver, plus this money for all people. The stimulus, by the way, looked like it was not going to cover seniors, disabled, mentally ill, and homeless, which is BS. I went into it. You've seen my videos. You know what my feelings are on it. I'm not going to waste my time on, you know, making you guys have to go through that again. And I'm sure you all have opinions. And some of you have written in and feel like I do. Most of you. And so getting the insurance companies to pay for it right now. I did win one for us. I accomplished the insurance companies where you get a prior authorization right now. All prior authorizations are waived until like the middle of April, at least in Oregon. So you might check into that wherever you're at, which is good news. So a doctor writes, they have to pay for it. Now, on the quantities, I haven't technically got them to fill anything past 30 days. However, if I'm allowed to leave my home and get to my doctor, or if things get really bad and he shuts down his practice, I'm going to push for 3 months, and then I'm going to hammer special kind of letter from him to make the insurance companies, whatever, pay for it. If you caught my broadcast today, in addition to Oregon being locked down now, if you're in Oregon, you're locked down. It's $1,000 if you get caught out without a good reason. So Little Brain Cake got off of it and made a decision finally. I'm not going to go into that too much. However, in the afternoon, come to find out, Oregon Liquor and Marijuana, you know, Department of Justice, etc., authorized restaurants and pot places, and I'm sure it covers liquor stores if they were to do so, can now make deliveries to your curb, which is crazy. Now, guys, you can. Some places had already allowed pot deliveries, and I'm not sure on the booze, but now it's legal, period. So you no longer have to leave your house to get your fix, let's just call it. And I really understand this, okay? When SHIT flies through the air into a fan, which it is, care what people say about it, it is. We all know, Team 99. We know. We knew it was coming to this. It's to tamp it down and keep people mellow. Yeah, and they better keep on it. I have yet to hear about the opiate farce, about people getting the pain meds like they should be getting. Methadone clinics are going to be closing eventually, guys. So all those people that get their daily methadone, they're not going to, unless they set up clinics or they do home deliveries, it's going to be a Wild West scenario. When those people don't have their meds, look out. It's going to be equal to people getting released from prisons, believe me. So it's another thing for you guys to keep an eye on in your own communities and see how they handle it. You might want to give suggestions if anybody ever picks up a phone and listens to us, because that's coming. If you take medical taxis and stuff, even regular taxis, they're running right at the moment. I'm going to be trying to get a hold of Oregon, it's called Rideline, to get the information on what they're being told, because once they cut that, all the people that go get their meds or go to doctors that are incapacitated or old and disabled, or the drug addicts that go get their fixes and stuff on their meds, it's done. So they're going to have to provide, I don't know how they're going to do this, doctors to come to the house with medications to hand out meds. I mean, think about that one for a minute. Like, paramedics are probably going to be busy anyway, but you'd almost have to have a doctor with a security person with him and meds. I mean, nightmare. But it's going to have to be addressed, and it's not. And I'm kind of PO'd over it, guys, because I feel for you brothers and sisters. And myself. These are medications we have to have. Transportation to doctors have to happen. Or, you know, doctors are going to have to come and do house calls. And they do that in hospice situations. They do that in severely ill. So they're going to have to figure that one out. It's going to have to be figured out immediately. And again, unless you can pass this information, what we're talking about right now, to the right person, people, I've tried. I've left messages. And so we'll see what happens. I'm trying to help everybody, guys. You know, we're all Team 99. We're ahead of the curve. I've been out there trying to get these things set up for a long time. Yes, I'll take your nomination for governor of Oregon. I'd be happy to run next time. nominate Troy. Healthcare sucks. Seriously. If not mayor of Lincoln City, maybe. Not joking. But, you know, if so be, I would accept it. And I'm kind of playing around. Maybe president? Really joking, guys. Come on. The world would be a way different place. It'd be way good. I can't even tell you. And I can't be corrupted. Believe me, it'd be tempting. But I turn down temptation all the time. There's a lot of tempting things in the last 20 years that came across my way. And for my love of the Lord, I've managed to get not tempted and to pass most of them. I'm not perfect. I'm with sins. I mean, we'll have talks if we get bored in the future about my sins someday. I mean, I'm not without sin. And I wouldn't judge any of you any differently. We all make mistakes. I mean, if you can 100% abide by God's laws and not break the rules, you should be like the full armor for all my watchers. Shields, and I also include weapons when I say my prayers, because if you're being of God, at some point, God, what I was getting to is God will protect you and stuff. However, I talked about the Poseidon incident, so I'd like his blessings and his backing, but someday he might be busy. I guess that's why he has angels, and we could go into this more in depth someday. I hope this chat is bringing up some new things. Don't freak out about none of them. I'm out there trying to get ahead of it and trying to get the right people to address these things. With that, I'm also trying to get at least our governor. All governors should do this immediately. All debt waiver on a SNAP card, 500 cash and 500 food stamps immediately, like yesterday. I'm not kidding. Governor Kate, get on it now. Not kidding. When they did emergency acts, they opened up, they've got all kinds of money they're sitting on right now to spend in stupid ways. It's going to come. You watch. So I think we covered quite a few new and old things. We watched what's going on out there. Same thing, spreading. More people getting sick, unfortunately. The thing with drug addicts not having their meds and stuff is going to be dangerous. We got prisoners getting out. It's not for me to tell you to defend yourself. Defend yourself. Be prepared. Or have somebody around you that can help you. A neighbor, a friend, whatever. You're going to have to socialize a little. I don't care what the lockdown is. But only you can decide when and how to break it along with your neighbor. The noise in the background is my son's getting excited. It's bedtime, so usually it's a dog, but it's my son, and so I have to go. Nighty-night time. Love you all. I'll be back. I'll be back, as always. And don't forget, watch Outcast Socks, because he cares. And remember, Outcast Socks! That's right, for Marlo. And do it now. Over and out.